Okay, welcome to another episode of Hoosier Nerds Podcast. You got Chris, and Tim's joining later. Don't know about Mikey; he didn't respond, but he'll probably join. He usually joins a little later, but that's okay. Um, so we were having a conversation about big lots, and so Chris brought up um, uh, what's Goodwill, the
Goodwill.
Goodwill.
It's a
Oh
hit
my
or
God,
miss store.
it's a hit or miss store. So I wanted to bring up something with the Goodwill. Oh my gosh. Okay, sorry, I was loading up a game because I'm like Tim now,
Okay.
and I game while I play
Speaking of
talk.
cotton candy, have you been mainlining it since you got off work? Holy crap.
No, I'm on my third glass of whiskey, and I took a half day today. I'll tell you afterwards because I don't think the podcast deserves to know that. No, it's stuff I don't want to, stuff that I don't think should be talked about in
I gotcha.
a public format. But anyways, so Goodwill, I was watching, so I was scrolling through. I don't have TikTok. When I send a TikTok to you, the group, it's someone else sent it to me, so I send it on. I got rid of TikTok because one, they're stealing your data, but who isn't stealing your data at
Oh
this
my god,
point?
everybody's stealing your data.
Um, and two, it's ran by the Chinese government, and I don't support the Chinese government, but that's neither here nor there.
That's okay.
Which,
So whatever Facebook is stealing of your data, they're selling it to the Chinese government. So
yeah,
it's
but that also reminds me of something else I want to talk about. But anyways, the Goodwill. So I was scrolling on YouTube. I know not much better, but I like YouTube's Reels because it's people I follow on YouTube also do Reels on YouTube, and I like them because it's people I've watched for years on YouTube. Anyway, so I was watching a guy. He does just randomly came up on Reels, and it was a guy who does like the flipping. He goes to the Goodwill, buys stuff for cheap, turns around, sells it on like eBay for
I
big
find a guy. I
bucks.
watch a guy on TikTok that does that. I
So
follow a guy on TikTok too.
Goodwill is probably the same guy, honestly, because they post on they share it throughout all the
Does
different
he have
things.
the ratty beard and mustache?
Yeah,
Wears a
same
hat
guy.
backwards all the
Yep,
time.
yep.
Same guy.
So I was reading the comments because he bought something that it's like in my head, the Goodwill. You go to the Goodwill because you can't really you can't really afford like brand new stuff, so you go to the Goodwill. It's there for people who are less well off. Um, and I was reading the comments, and some people were saying like his comments are ripping him, and like they're like, this is the reason why Goodwill raised all their prices because of people like him.
That is not true.
It's not true. It's inflation and other things. But I do agree that that is a problem with some of Goodwill that people that go there need it are getting ripped off by um people like that.
I
Turning
don't
around and
think.
selling it.
I don't believe in it. I don't think he's going through and buying. Like he's extremely specific about what he purchases.
True.
He
It,
doesn't go in there and go, "I'm going to buy this lot of hats and just buy every hat
no, but
on the rack or buy every shirt on the
it's
rack." He's
people
very
like that.
specific.
I
He's
know
very
it's not.
specific about what he buys.
I know it's not him, but it's people like that that do stuff like that. Go in there. Oh, they got 20 pairs of Wrangler jeans, so let's buy them and turn around and sell them
Right.
on eBay.
He's not doing that. He's
I
looking
know
for
he's not
he's
doing that, but I'm saying it's people like that are
Oh,
doing that.
sure, but those are the same people that go to Walmart and look at the disc rack and flip stuff and goes to every single store, goes to the flea market. You know how many times I could go to the flea market and find stuff and flip it for more money?
Well, that's probably most of their most people that go to the flea market.
I could probably flip racing stuff with the stuff I find,
But I
but I
think
won't
my
do it.
problem it comes to people that do it at the Goodwill because to quote, I don't know if I'm able to quote Coach Carter. Did you ever see Coach Carter, the Samuel L. Jackson movie where he's the coach of a basketball team?
No, I didn't.
I forget the exact quote, but it was like, if you can't afford a tie, you can go down to Goodwill and get them for 50 cents or something like that. It's like it's there for people that need cheap stuff.
But
So
he
why?
ain't buying ties. He's just buying a specific thing. He's looking for specific items. He's not buying at the store. I have no problem with somebody going through and looking for specific items. You know how many stores he probably goes through in a day
No,
and comes out
I'm
with
not
maybe 4
saying
things.
like he's the one. I'm saying it's people like that are doing it to the extreme of going and buying everything up there
Yeah, well, I mean,
and then not
people
letting
do
you.
that. People go to garage sales every week and do that. And he goes to garage sales too, so what's the difference?
Yeah, I know. I just have an issue with people taking advantage
Well,
of a store
let's
that tries to sell stuff cheap for people less fortunate.
hold on a second. I want to look something up. I have no issue with that. I have no issue with that because this guy's making is looking for specific items. He's just not buying shit.
But you know what I mean? The
So,
people that go there and do that, though.
oh, I know what you're saying. Let's see here. Okay,
Just so
so
everybody knows, I'm also playing Baldur's Gate right now. I made a new character.
while you're complaining about the guy that's paying $3 for the figurine and selling it on eBay or whatnot um, for like $10, don't forget that the president and CEO of Goodwill in 2020 made almost $1 million in salary, and all
Oh
that
no,
stuff is 100%. All of that stuff is 100% free. They don't pay for that stuff. It is given to them.
oh no, I completely agree. I have an issue with like I keep an eye on like places that I donate to, like the Goodwill. Like I don't like donating to Goodwill too often. It's just an easy way to get rid of crap. I have an issue of like the Goodwill or Salvation Army where only like so much of their stuff, their CEOs are rolling around in um Rolls Royces and Mercedes and, making 6, 7 figures. I have
Yeah.
an issue with that.
Oh, so do I. But that's the issue. That's what you should be angry at, not that guy that goes and
Oh,
buys.
that's
I'm
why.
gonna buy this jersey, this giveaway jersey for $8. I'm gonna put it on eBay for $40 with shipping, which means he's literally making like $22.
So I went to a Game of Thrones night at. It was back. It was. I think it was when this last season was starting, and it was Game of Thrones night at a baseball game, a Cubs game, and I got a Cubs dragon statue, like a Game of Thrones dragon statue,
Hmm.
and I thought about turning around and selling that because my ticket price was whatever, and I could turn around and sell that little statue for, I could make $30, but I
Right.
held on to it. Don't get me wrong. I look at the price of that thing every once in a while, and I'm like, I could sell that for some good money right
Well,
there.
I mean, remember when they at Disney they had those Figment popcorn buckets, and people were buying them out the ass at Disney World, then turning around and flipping them on
Well,
eBay for hundreds and hundreds of
that's
dollars.
exactly what people are doing. The flippers or whatever. I don't know what they're exactly called, but if people turn around and flipping stuff are ruining, things.
I agree.
Like
I
the
agree.
computer market, people. So right now, um, most of your price of your computer right now comes from your graphics card. The problem is when the graphics cards go on sale by like GeForce or whatever, flippers buy them in mass. Like it's the same thing with Taylor Swift things.
Right.
They buy them in mass and then turn around and sell them for profit.
Right.
So it's people like that that's ruining stuff. And the problem is I don't know how you fix that personally.
Well, I mean, I talk about that issue when I get my racing pictures autographed that I've taken, because I don't want them thinking that I'm flipping them on eBay, because that's not the case. I'll never sell
Yeah.
my racing stuff. You know what I mean? Because I see those guys at the racetrack, and I think it's shitty. But now that they say that, though, I saw a TikTok today, and it was the lead singer of Third Eye Blind was in an airport, right? And this guy had a stack of albums he wanted signed, and he's like, name a song off of whatever album, and the guy couldn't do it. He says, here's the problem. He says I signed this stuff and it ends up on eBay. So he asked the guy's name. He says, I'll sign one, and he wrote it to his name and and autographed it so he couldn't sell it on eBay.
I agree with that. That's a good idea
And
because
I would have no issue with that.
no. as somebody that would want something signed, I would like that, honestly.
Yeah. I have no problem with them because they do that. I mean, they do that everywhere. They do. They have a stack of pictures. They have a stack of collectibles. Who was it that was saying? What's his name? Kylo Ren says he has a problem signing collectibles because he knows. You can tell the difference. You can tell which one's a fan
Yeah.
and which one is selling them for profit.
Yep. You can tell.
So
And
then the seller or the fan is the one who suffers. Tiger Woods used to sign golf balls back in the day when he first started. Then it started showing up on eBay, so he quit signing golf balls.
is that something where he quit signing golf balls, or would he still sign it for like to Chris or to Tim?
No, he would quit signing golf balls. He might sign a piece of paper. If you got a
Oh,
piece of paper, he would sign it. He's not going to sign a golf ball
okay.
because a golf ball's going to or a golf a golf glove. He won't sign a golf glove because it'll end up on eBay.
I don't blame him.
I don't blame him either.
Because what's the point of doing that? It's for the fans. It's not for Joe Schmo. I mean, in a sense, you can argue that the fans are buying it on eBay or whatever,
Yeah, but
but
they're taking advantage of the
they're
fan.
taking advantage of people.
If somebody said, "I'm going to this golf thing today," oh, can you take this golf ball? Can you get it signed by Tiger Woods for me? I'm a huge fan of his. There you go. That's what you should do. Not, well, I'll do it and I'll sell it to you for $350.
Yeah. If I was to go to, if you couldn't make it to Comic Con and Luke Skywalker was there, Mark Hamill himself, and you asked me, "Hey, take this copy of Episode 4 and have him sign it for me," I would take it and have him sign it
Right.
for you. I don't know if that's something you would have me do, but that was just what came to my head.
Sure. No. I mean, that's the way it should be, And
Yeah.
but this, yeah, I have no problem with people buying stuff and flipping it. I know somebody who goes to she goes to garage sales and yard sales and ends up flipping them because a lot of valuable stuff out there that people sell for nothing.
Oh yeah, I've thought about doing that, like going to garage sales and stuff.
So you got to have an eye for it, and I don't have an
Yeah.
eye for it.
Well,
So
my thing is, I've wanted to go there and look for like especially during like this time of year when kids are moving out, going to college, parents going to their like Pokemon cards or Magic the Gathering cards, stuff like that. Because I know what cards are worth it and what cards are
right.
not worth it. I might not know like the newer cards, but like some of the older cards, if I know what I'm looking for like older cards.
Right. No, I get it. That's when I buy my racing stuff. I'm picky about what I spend it, how much I spend on stuff. I won't spend an exorbitant. If I think it's overpriced, I won't buy it. So it has nothing to do with. I mean, it's value I would pay on eBay for it, not value that I think it's worth. If I think it's only worth $10 and they've got $30 on it, I'm not buying it because it's not worth that much. So it's what people think it's worth is the problem. But I don't know. There ain't nothing you can do about it. It's free enterprise.
True. It's capitalism, baby.
That's right.
Who
Good for
is
him. I
here?
wish I had that eye because he knows this crap too. I mean, he buys shirts and hats and shoes and toys and like mugs. He's very specific. He doesn't just buy, oh, here's a Victoria's Secret pair of underwear. He doesn't buy that shit. He's extremely specific about what he buys. So
Are you there, Tim?
Yeah.
he's shoving his mouth with chicken.
How's
Yes.
that KFC?
It's good.
Dude, we went to Popeyes last night and we got 2 chicken sandwich value meals. I got one with bacon and cheese on it, right? And it's $23 for 2 value meals for chicken sandwich. That's a lot of
Yeah.
money for chicken sandwich. I mean, it was good. It wasn't, oh my God, this is so good. It was just, it was good. It's
Magic
just,
Missile. Magic Missile. Sorry.
So, Chris,
I
how's
mean,
it feel to be banned from X?
oh my God.
yeah, you bully.
So this morning I got a little. I guess I got a little too rowdy. That's something else I was going to bring up. I guess. So this morning I got a little too rowdy on X. The new Twitter, and I guess I got myself banned permanently. Like I tried to appeal and nothing's come back yet. I mean, it doesn't mean
They'll
anything,
give you a
but
few, they'll make you sweat it.
but so basically, I put there was a meme of it was so the Canadian government has a hotline to like get to help you with like assisted suicides now. So someone put a meme up there of like try to help somebody or tell him to kill himself basically. So I put a meme or I kind of replied, oh, I'm feeling a little upsetty spaghetti. Government, kill yourself. And I got banned. How do I get banned, but the other account does not get banned?
The meme that you memed did not get
Yeah,
banned,
yeah, for the
right?
exact same thing, but I put it in like I typed it instead of put an image.
It's one of those days of just, I don't know. This whole week, it's only Tuesday, and I've been off all week since Sunday.
Haven't been off what?
I've just been off. Like I felt off. Like
Oh, yeah, I kind of feel the same, honestly.
Not me. I'm
But
always turned on.
have you been watching the Maui fire coverage?
dude, Biden fell asleep in that
Dude,
meeting.
that's a freaking joke. Oh my God. Can you believe that? That's unbelievable.
Unfortunately, yes, because I saw it.
So
Biden's always
so
asleep.
everybody's talking. So well, no, okay. So everybody's talking about how, and I find it funny because okay, so there was a. It's called the firestorm of 1997. There was fires in Florida, right? Like wildfires. Like it burnt up acres and acres and acres of land. Like they banned fireworks for the 4th of July because it was that hot and dry, and people were reporting they were called butt flickers. Anybody that would flick a cigarette out of the car, they would announce their license plate on the radio, and because it was that dry and that bad. So people are talking about, well, why isn't the pavement melting? Pavement melts. Have you like there was like 60-mile-an-hour winds during the fire, right? Those
Yeah,
embers blow over the they blow over the road and just start a fire on the other side of the road. That's all it does. It doesn't burn clear across the road. Once it gets to the pavement, the fire goes out on its own, but it's already jumped and goes the other direction. I've seen fires burn a house up and a fire not. I mean, our house where we lived, fire went up to the back of the house and went out by itself. Our whole backyard was black from the fire. So those people are crazy when they're like, "Well, I don't understand why this burns and this burns, but this doesn't burn." Can you see?
have you?
However,
So my one thing with that is, have they not watched like any of the California fires? Like you'll see random patches where nothing was burned.
yeah,
But I also agree that it's kind of fishy that it's only like the rich people that
I
are
do
not
think that's
affected.
fishy. Okay, so I was watching a movie on Sunday,
Sunday,
because they're talking
Sunday,
about
Sunday.
lasers coming down to start the fire.
It wasn't that. It was there was a video of a tree branch hitting a power line.
No, it was a laser. I'm believing it's the laser. See, don't convince me otherwise. I don't want to see that video is from 1990. That was from like 2012 in California.
1990 to 2012. What a change.
Anyway, so I was thinking about this and how real this is. So, Real Genius is a movie. It's a comedy, but it has Val Kilmer in it, right? And he plays, and it has the guy from Die Hard, the news guy from Die Hard that she punches in the face at the end of the movie. You know what I'm talking about? His name's William Atherton. He was the guy in Ghostbusters, the EPA guy in Ghostbusters. So he's teaching these. He gets these nerds together, like super nerds, like genius kids, and he has them build a laser for a science project. What he doesn't tell them is he has a government contract to create a laser to shoot a laser from space. And this movie came out in 1985. So don't tell me they don't have the capability to shoot a laser from space. Well, I don't think this is. I do think
I
there's
want
some fishy things about
freaking
this.
laser beams on freaking shark heads. I forget.
I won't have that before too long, but it is like legit. Like it's like, and they screw with the coordinates and they end up frying his house instead of frying. Like their goal was to use it to like disintegrate like people from space, bad people from space. But they had college students doing it, and they didn't know it. It was just their science project. So there's a movie that's almost 40 years old, and it's coming to light. But I do find it weird that the police weren't letting people off the main road, and well, we're just taking orders. Like some people drove through yards to get away because they couldn't evacuate. Why are the police shutting down roads to evacuate? All roads should go one direction. Every road should go one direction, and that's away from the fire. I have never heard of a police stopping people to evacuate.
There's a lot of fishy things that went on.
There's a lot of fishy things went on, and that's the poor side of the island. And how do we know that the rich people don't want the poor side to, develop it? So,
well, it's fishy because their developers are already trying to buy it up.
Yeah,
and it's also fishy because it's an island.
That's right.
Water.
Fish in the water. Yeah. I agree. So, but I thought that was kind of a tie-in with the Maui fires and everybody talking about laser beams coming from this guy. And I watched Real Genius, which is what that movie's basically about.
This is for the Molokai Cop.
The Molokai Cop. Yeah, we need those. We need them guys there. We need the hard ticket to Hawaii people to go check that out.
They'll figure it out.
They will. First is they have a rough day and go in their hot tub.
Yes, the hot tub is where they figure everything out.
Yes, and then they will go and figure out how to fix it. Which we can segue into that, Chris. Chris, I want to go ass sliding with you.
Oh God, let's take Tim ass sliding.
We should. I want to go ass sliding with Tim.
It sounds weird.
Okay, so we went to see Rift Tracks the other night, and they were showing Rad, which is a BMX race, right? BMX movie. And ass sliding is just basically, going down a water slide. But that was a line from a movie. That was a line from the movie. God, I want to go ass sliding with you. It has a bunch of nobodies and Lori Loughlin, who was Aunt Becky on Full House, and then got arrested for the college scheme, right?
They were ripping.
Dude, she's like asking this guy. So this guy's a BMX rider, and he's supposed to take his SATs on the day of the big race, right? That's the hell track. So it's hilarious because she starts giving him college advice. In the movie, I was like, how ironic is it that she's handing out college advice? Well, she got busted for cheating. She's like, you should have somebody pay your way into college.
I wish I wrote down the jokes for that.
It had Talia Shire in it too. Which my favorite line was, she's unloading the groceries out of her car and she's really disgusted. And they go, I was in The Godfather. And then later on, she said, I'm related to Francis Ford Coppola.
So, do you want to start with like that? Do you want to start from the beginning that the guy was actually the main actor was actually at the movie?
Yes, Bill Allen, who played Crew Jones, the main character of the movie, was at the theater live in Nashville, Tennessee, for the live riff track, which I think is awesome.
I think you said that that's the first time that's ever happened.
That's a first. The director of Samurai Cop had a party for when they riffed Samurai Cop.
Oh, so like watch party.
He had a watch party because they ripped his movie, which I think is awesome too. But this is the first I've seen of a person being at the theater live where they're doing it.
I feel like it's kind of become a badge of honor, kind of like when Weird Al makes fun of your movie or South Park rips on you, something kind of like that.
Yeah, I agree.
It's become kind of a badge of honor of like, hey, look, I was made fun of by these guys.
But Crew Jones, he's the local boy, and they've decided to descend the best BMX riders in the world on his town and build Hell Track, which is this ultimate dangerous BMX.
It's the Super Bowl.
Race.
It's the fight. It's to compete against the Super Bowl.
Yes,
that is
it
like
is.
a legitimate line that they wanted to compete against Super Bowl. BMX, something with only 20 or 30 people that watch it.
And they have Bart Connor's in it. Bart Connor is a Olympic gold medal winning gymnast. He's not the bad guy, but he's like one of the bad guys. And he races for a certain bicycle. He races for a factory BMX team. Oh, it's full of factory BMX teams.
Like actual names, like Mongoose. They're like dropping actual
BMX,
right, bike manufacturers.
Hutch and Mongoose, and there was a couple other ones there. And
I recognize the names, but I can't remember what
they were.
I
did too. I recognized a lot of them, even back then in the 80s. I saw this movie like in the 80s. But
oh, you saw this movie before?
Yeah, I've seen it on VHS. We rented it.
I thought you said you hadn't seen it before.
No, I've seen this twice before. I watched it like 6 months ago too, because it's awesome. So poor Crew, he wants to race Hell Track. His mom's mad at him because it's the same day as his SATs, but he wins $10,000 if he wins a race. So he races. So he has to have he has to raise $10,000, don't he?
No, he wins $10,000.
They changed the rules.
Qualifying.
Yeah, then they changed the rules on him
because he wouldn't throw.
Right. So he had to. Yeah, they wanted him to throw the race. So then they would pay him money. That's what it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, they'd pay him money if he threw the race because they had millions of dollars in. What's the guy's name?
Like in sponsorship, in factory sponsorship. Yeah.
Yeah, they had millions of dollars in sponsorships and clothing deals with like the guy that they wanted to win.
Right.
And they're like, he's gonna win. There's you gotta let him win type of deal.
So then they raised it from $10,000 entry fee on the same weekend because they started selling T-shirts for $10 a pop. And they were raising money, but they raised the entry fee to $40,000. So local man Ray Walston, Mr. Hand from Fast Times at Ridgemont High and My Favorite Martian fame, came to the rescue with the $40,000. So their homeboy Crew Jones could.
Which we might want to say he initially brought Hell Track in.
Yes. And it's just a terrible, awesome movie with Ken Squire calling the race.
Let's go bike dancing.
Yes, they went bike dancing. Lori Loughlin, Aunt Becky and Crew Jones went dancing, doing bicycle stunts at the local Hell Track dance party.
And it is exactly what it sounds like.
Yes, and it's just as bad. But end up, spoiler alert: Crew Jones wins the race at Hell Track. Bart Connor, the bad guy, factory rider, comes over, shakes his hand and says congratulations, and then they raise up his bike for some reason in victory, I guess.
And he joins Rad Racing instead of Mongoose.
Yeah, he drops
because Mongoose is the bad guys in this.
What a movie. Had a lot of 80s jokes though. I think a lot of them, if like young people wouldn't have seen it, if they weren't like into 80s stuff, they probably wouldn't have got a lot of those jokes.
I'm gonna be honest, there's a lot of them that I barely understood.
See.
And I'm guessing that's because I was born in '92.
Right. But well, Hell Track, Rad Racing. I want one of them Rad Racing shirts. Like Crew
There's
Jones.
a few movies they just need to. So Riff Tracks, there's a few movies. If you guys are listening to us, which I doubt you are, you need to like riff.
Please.
One of them is Terror Squad.
Terror Squad.
I would say on top of Terror Squad, you need to do, what's it called? Did they do Hard Ticket?
They have not done any of those movies. They have not done any Andy Sedaris movie. I mean, there's a ton of them out there, and they're still getting made, obviously, with those Fast and Furious, Fate, and what is it, Fast and Crazy, whatever, that I've watched. I've got a list of bad movies to watch, so they're hard to get the rights to. Some people don't like their stuff made fun of, so.
Yeah, and I get that, but at the same time, it's like I don't think what's it called would have ever been a hit, would have ever had a success. The Room. The Room would have just gone down as a horrible movie, and that's it.
It did go down as a horrible movie.
Well, but it's a cult classic now. Like,
doesn't make it any better.
No, it is but he's right. Rat is a cult classic, and I think that's why they try to stick to those is the cult classics, because I think people will come to movies they've heard of. Because I had heard of Rat. So.
I had heard of The Room before they did it too.
Right, so I think that's why they're very selective. They did Starship Troopers, of course, and so hopefully they'll have more than one next year. That's the only one they've got this year.
I know we saw like 3 the last time or last year.
Yeah,
2.
I've seen at least 2, but I did see they were playing on the Riff Tracks on Pluto. They were doing they were showing Riff Tracks live. The other night I was watching a Riff Tracks live event. So you can see them eventually. They'll end up on the Riff Track channel. Because I think they did Hobgoblins, so I think it's on the Riff Track channel too. Hobgoblins was good.
Hobgoblins was hilarious.
So, and they did Mac and Me, right? Didn't they do Mac and Me?
I don't remember that one.
I think they did Mac and Me, but I think I'm the only one that went to see Mac and Me. You might not have been able to go.
Maybe. I don't know. There's a period where you were going to like a lot of them, and I just never had the chance.
Right, I was going to every one of them. Yeah, that might have been when we were working for the city, and well, you might have been closing that night or something.
Yeah.
Because they used to start at 7. I don't know why they started them at 8 now, but oh well. I mean, it's what it is.
8 is a bit late almost for at least for me.
For me, oh, me too.
Yeah.
And I had already driven up to frickin' Cedar Lake.
Yeah, and I got to drive all the way to Richmond afterwards.
So I stopped at McDonald's on the way home.
I did too. I stopped and got a Coke and a small fry to keep me.
Oh, I got that small value meal thing. That cheeseburger.
Is it 2 cheeseburgers, a fry, and a drink?
Yeah, and it's like a small whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
I thought about getting that, but I was like, I'm not that hungry, and all I really want is like a burger and some fries and a drink.
Well, I had eaten at like 5:30, 5 or 5:30, but that was 5 hours later. By the time we got out of the movie.
If I didn't get there late, I would have gotten some popcorn and like a drink.
Right. Oh no, that's right. But I had no problem stopping at McDonald's.
No, I don't. Sometimes I don't mind stopping at McDonald's.
Dude,
I might like McDonald's a little too much sometimes.
Speaking of going places, God, what was going on Saturday? Like, there was so much freaking traffic out on Saturday.
I don't know.
Dude, we were in Indianapolis on Saturday. I bet you I saw, in the span of a half a mile, I saw 5 almost accidents on the interstate.
Jeez.
It was crazy. And then we went to at Ford's Garage, right? And of course, Nickelback was in concert, which I couldn't convince the teenage girls to go to Nickelback concert.
They didn't want to go see Nickelback?
No, can you believe that?
surprising, honestly.
So we ran into that traffic over there by the mall there. But we got into Ford's Garage. We only had to wait 30 minutes to eat. But God, there was just traffic everywhere. Like even at like 11:30, like down in Carmel. Is that when everybody go gets their latte, mocha, choco bullshit? Is that what they
Probably.
do?
I had a bachelor
Holy
party, so I
shit!
was actually in Indy that day.
It
I
was
so
interstates were crazy that day.
there's so for the bachelor party, I went to. I've brought up Zach a few times. So I don't know if people remember Zach,
I know.
but I know you know Zach, and I know Tim knows Zach. So I went to his bachelor party. I was just saying, the 20 people that listened to us. Um, but I went to his bachelor party and we did this thing. It was fun, but I was on a team of people I didn't really know anybody, so it was kind of like okay.
Mhm.
But it was it was like a game show like thing. So like you and a group of people go and do like game show games. So like our game show was oh, I can't think of the exact game on not Wheel of Fortune, but Family Feud, where it's like survey says, and they surveyed like 100 people. So it was like that.
That's Family
And
Feud.
yep, it was Family Feud, and then we did so there was like they put like a phrase up on the board, and so somebody was up front, and you had to guess what they were putting on their thing. So like blank river or something like that. So you had to guess what river they were thinking.
Okay, so like password or $100,000 pyramid.
Yeah. And then the next thing was the last game we played was like basically drinking games. So it was kind of like Flip Cup and oh, what's it called? Uh, where you throw the hacky sack. I can't think of that name to save my life.
I don't even know. You should went to go to strip joint.
What do you?
Titties
Oh,
and beer, Chris.
You mean cornhole?
Cornhole, yeah.
Oh,
Sorry, I couldn't
not
think of cornhole to save my life.
yeah. You said hacky sack, and I'm thinking of the little ball, and I'm like, I have no idea what you're doing.
The first thing I was thinking of was like kicking the hacky sack around.
That's what you do.
I'm glad you're here, Tim, because my brain was not coming up with cornhole. But no, it was pretty fun. It was just the hardest thing was there's just a lot of people I didn't know.
Oh, was Mikey there?
Mikey and Nick and Brad, Zach.
Well,
You
so you knew
don't know
people.
Kyle. I knew people, but I was on the team with people I didn't
So,
know.
so what you're saying it was our whole group chat?
Basically, yeah. But I've only met Landon once, and then there was Danny, and then I've played games with Danny, but I know I've never met him in real life. And then Savior, I don't remember his name. I just know his gamer tag, and we met him, or Zach met him playing games.
Okay then.
But it was an okay night.
Just okay.
I didn't drink, so everybody else was drinking.
Yeah. Well, you got to drive home.
Yeah, and I didn't stay the night, so
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable driving. I don't feel comfortable drinking if I've got a long drive home. I have to start early. If the
Good.
party's at 7 and I'm leaving at midnight, I'll have a beer at 7. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But I won't. If I'm driving, I won't.
I had a drink for what's it called, dinner.
Where'd you go eat
We
dinner?
went I forget what it's called. It's like Chatham. It's like a British bar with like their big thing is like they play soccer, so they might open up at like 8 in the morning. It's
Oh,
like a pub.
God.
It's like a British pub.
Freaking hate soccer.
Football.
It was good. I was gonna get fish and chips because at a British pub, but then I
Right.
decided I saw something called the War Pig, which was a tenderloin with fried egg and some other stuff on it. So I was
Oh,
like, you know what,
crap.
that
That
actually looks
sounds
pretty
good.
good.
I had a burger with peanut butter on it. So I had a cheeseburger with peanut butter on it at Ford's Garage. You ever had Ford's Garage, Chris?
I've actually never heard of it until you just brought it up the other
Dude,
day.
it is so freaking good. We never get a bad meal there. I've tried 3 or 4 different sandwiches, and I've never had a bad meal. ever, and they got the best mac and cheese.
Where is it?
It's in where the movie theater is.
Oh, okay.
It's in the same area. It's just it
That
faces the road.
that
out
little
front.
area, like I told you, but I'll say it here, that there's a little area in Noblesville, Indiana, where it has an IMAX, and it's not a AMC, it's Goodrich, or it used to be Goodrich.
Yeah, I don't know what it is now. It's not even Goodrich.
Yeah, but they Goodrich basically went out of business with COVID,
Uh-huh.
and then this place took over, and they were closed for like a good year and a half almost. They
Mhm.
really remodeled it. It is really nice in there.
Yeah, it is a nice theater.
But they that area I went to for maybe 5 to 6, 7 years. That is the only place I went to movies because one, it's a really nice theater, and two, it's an IMAX. So
It is a nice. We saw Bumblebee there.
yeah,
Were you with
I
us when we saw Bumblebee?
yeah, I was.
Wait, okay. So you know where the ice cream place is, right?
Yeah.
Well, remember we got ice cream afterwards, or did you get ice cream with us?
I might have left. I'm not sure. I don't
Cold
remember getting ice cream, but
Stone
doesn't mean I
Cold
didn't.
Cold Stone. It's right around the
Yeah,
corner from Cold Stone, where that little play area is with the artificial turf.
yeah.
It's yeah. Ford's Garage is over by there. You've got
Okay,
to go
that
try it, dude.
must be
The food is
newer.
so good. Yeah, it's only been there a year or two, but their food is freaking lit. I am not kidding.
Lit, he says, Tim.
It is lit. It's really good. The show. I mean, if Josie loves it, she's picky as hell because she's a picky eater, and she's very picky about her mac and cheese. Although she thinks Kraft Dinner is the greatest thing since sliced bread, so I question her um, food critic abilities. But she's right about this mac and cheese. I get it. I get it as I get like a burger and fries. Then I get a bowl of mac and cheese extra because it's that good. That should tell you how good the mac and cheese is there.
Hey.
So they have a blackened chicken, or you can get shrimp in mac and cheese. It's like a big ass bowl of mac and cheese with meat in it. It's really good. So, and every vintage store we went to was closed on Saturday. I don't know what the hell was going on, but we struck out on vintage clothes. But we just went to Indie CD and Vinyl. Of course, we always go to Indie CD and Vinyl, Broad Ripple.
Because you're a bunch of hipsters.
Yes. Oh my God! So Josie bought this new to her technology called a cassette player,
Oh my gosh.
like a Walkman cassette player, And she bought 2 cassettes, and she thinks it's the greatest thing ever. So
I remember back in the day when cars had CDs and cassette players.
they did, and if you only had a tape player, you had to buy the conversion kit to put
And
a
if you
CD player in it.
and if you were Chris, you actually used to play your music with just banging 2 rocks together.
I was telling her about so like 8-track. You know how 8-tracks are, right?
Yes.
Well, cars came with 8-track players, but you could put. They had a converter that you could put a cassette player inside the 8-track. It looked like an 8-track, but it was a converter, and you put your cassette in there so you could listen to cassettes in your car through your 8-track player. So there's been conversion kits forever, honestly.
Well, they have a conversion kit where you can play your what's it called, like iPhone through it.
Yeah, you got to buy the cord so you can plug your aux cord into it if you want to. If it don't have Bluetooth, yeah, you can plug it into the aux
Because
cord.
remember, people, cars used to not have Bluetooth.
Yeah,
I know that might not seem right, but
they didn't even have aux cords. Like to buy the conversion chart for the the Discman CD player, which is a Walkman with a CD though. So you had one cord that went to the cassette player. So it was a cassette with a wire sticking out of it that went all the way down to the back of the CD player. Then you had a power unit which plugged in, and it went to the cigarette lighter. So it wasn't a power source. It was a cigarette lighter. You know what I mean? So.
Well, I remember when I had to. It was. I had. It was like played over a dead radio station.
Yes. You could do that too. You could do your iPhone that way too.
Uh-huh. And
That's the
Ooh,
sometimes
way.
Halloween.
That's the way they converted Sirius. When I had Sirius in an older car, that's how it would play on a dead radio station. So, and that wasn't too long ago. That was maybe 10 years, not even. That white car I had before I bought my Mitsubishi.
yeah.
That was my satellite was set up that way in that car. That was 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago. So there you go.
Jeez.
Just not that far, and they probably still sell them that way. I'm sure. So, but anyway, on to the NFL.
Oh yeah, we better talk about the NFL because we're almost. I didn't realize how far into the
Have you
podcast.
been following the Michael O'Hare story, Michael Orr,
Oh yeah, I
the
have been.
Blind Side? What a
Netflix is
shit show
waiting to
that
make.
is.
Netflix has already gotten the rights, I bet, to make a documentary called Blindsided.
I don't even know who to believe anymore.
Well,
I think I think he's getting bad advice from somebody. That's my opinion.
I think he. This is what I kind of read online at one point that he didn't like the
He never liked the movie because it portrayed him as dumb, and I understand that.
yeah, and he never got paid the amount
He
like.
did get paid. They all got paid the same amount. That is what the family is saying.
Oh, everything I've ever heard was that he never got the money he thought he deserved, or something like
Well,
that.
maybe the money he thought he deserved, but God, he was signed a multi-millions and billion-dollar contract when he played for the Ravens. So I don't know. I think he's got some bad legal
I
team
think he
going
did
on there.
too, but from what the reason the news is that he's never been. They never like took advantage of um that thing they had on him. The I can't think of the word. The legal thing.
The conservativeship, they never
Yeah,
adopted him. And it's never been said. It's not even said in the movie they adopted him. They
yeah.
they just looked over him is what they did while he was in college. So they didn't. He got what they got. That's exactly how it went. So
Yeah,
it's a mess. But
but I do agree. I think he got some bad advice from somebody.
we know somebody else who's gotten bad advice from somebody.
Jonathan Taylor.
Yeah, he's asking for a trade.
The Colts are giving it to him, but no one's going to give him um no one's going to give him the money he wants.
No, but nobody's gonna pay that.
Well, let's be honest. There'll be some team that gives him the money. Unfortunately,
Maybe, but they gotta have what the Colts want. You know what I mean? They gotta give up
yeah.
what the Colts want.
And the Colts want a first round and like a couple second rounders, um, or they want like multiple picks or players, which I don't blame him. He's worth it. And granted, I am all for him getting his money. Like I'm not saying I'm not against him trying to get his
Well,
money,
don't
but
sign this. Don't sign the contract that you previously signed if you want
yeah,
more money.
don't. He was already signed to a contract.
Yeah, play out your contract,
Yeah,
then ask for more money. Play out your contract, perform, and renegotiate your contract when its time's up, or become a free agent and get paid by somebody else.
yep.
That's how it works. It's that simple. So I don't feel sorry for him.
I don't either, but I'm also loyal. I've never been one of those people that are like, oh, I'm gonna follow this person. No, the only person that's a lie. The only person I was like that with was Peyton.
Well, everybody paid attention to Peyton in Denver. I'm not saying I rooted
Yeah,
for the Broncos, but
I didn't root for. I rooted for him, not the Broncos.
you know, or maybe
But
when Montana went to Kansas City, or there are a few players that you follow. Like I'm going to follow the Jets because Aaron Rodgers is with the Jets.
yeah, because he's one of the best players we've ever seen.
Have you
Like
been- did
he's arguably the best quarterback ever, as in like skill level.
have you been watching Hard Knocks?
No, I've never been into Hard Knocks. I'm gonna be
Dude,
honest
you
with you.
should watch it. It's really good. He's money. Speaking of preseason, Why are the Colts sitting their starting quarterback who has no reps, who needs plenty of reps to begin the season? That's all we hear. We've got to get him reps. We got to get him reps. Oh, I think we'll sit him down for the Bears game. What are they doing?
I don't know. They piss me off sometimes.
Is he going to play the last game, like a whole bunch of the last game? Or seems to me as a rookie, you would play him in the first half of every game.
Yeah.
Or maybe play him 2 full games. You know what I mean?
He should have at least played half of every game so far.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. And how's he going to get reps? Practice is nothing. Jacoby Brissett looked good in practice. I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anybody can look good in practice. It's a whole different animal, you know. But I don't understand their thinking of sitting him for a whole game. There's only 3 preseason games.
Well, I always, speaking of Jacoby, I thought Jacoby was good personally.
Yeah, he was good, but he wasn't elite. He wasn't a winner.
He was never going to lose you the game, though. Also,
Well, no, but he doesn't have that winner tag. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
He's just he's a decent quarterback. He's not a winner. That was Jacoby. That's not a problem. I mean, he's a good quarterback, but he don't have a winner stamped on him. But I don't understand why you get this rookie that's a sophomore out of college that's only played maybe 15 games total.
He played one season.
You sign him to this giant contract, and then he's your guy. You've already announced him as your starting quarterback for the season, and he didn't even play. And I can remember Coach talking about this. What's his name for the Colts? Yeah, that guy. He was talking about
Dungy?
Yeah, Dungy. Yeah, I can remember him saying that he never understood why you bench your starters during preseason. That's why teams look so shitty in the first couple of games of the season because they don't have the reps. They don't have the time together.
No, I'm all for like sitting your, not letting your starters play the entire game, but I'm also like, first game they should play half, second game half, third game they should be there for at least 3/4, if not the entire game.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how this goes.
But now it's only 3 games, so
yeah, that 4th game that mattered quite a bit. It really did.
Yeah,
I'd rather it be the regular season though.
Honestly, I do agree with you, Tim, on that one.
What?
I'd rather it be the regular season like it is.
I don't. I think you need those 4 games. I think. I mean, it can go either way. Well, let's make it an extra game during the season. Well,
the first week of the
but
preseason.
there's a lot more. I think that it's easier to evaluate your talent after 4 games instead of 3. I think you're rushing the process.
They play plenty of scrimmages and stuff throughout, like the.
Yeah, scrimmages ain't shit, dude. Though it's like practice. It's like practice for the 500. I can go out there and run top speed on an empty racetrack all day long. But you put me in the race. There's 32 other guys out on the racetrack. It's a whole different thing.
Preseason games are all trash as well. So I mean, it's the same thing. You might as well not even do that.
Preseason, you also have players that have never played a down in the NFL.
That's right.
Probably never will.
That's
they're their first spot.
That's what the preseason is supposed to be for. It's supposed to try out all those people that you pulled out of your practice squad, all these like late round draft picks that aren't going to see any reps in the regular season. You try them out in the preseason, and then if they're good, then you can maybe try them on like a trial basis. That's what it's what like that's why half of the preseason is like, back when it was 4 games, it would be like, your starters play the first 3/4 the first game, and then it's like the rookies, and then the second game it's like half and then half. And then
right. That's what I'm saying. But when you have a rookie quarterback that you've named your franchise guy and he's starting this season and you're sitting for one of those 3 games and he's only played the first quarter of the first game.
So often in the preseason though, and it's just not worth it sometimes. I mean, he should play, but
then don't play football.
He shouldn't be playing like the full hour of football.
I think you should get think he should get equal reps with the backup. I think he should. I don't. I think it's crazy to sign to
If you
start him if you're not going to evaluate him in preseason. This whole I'm going to sit him and he worries about getting hurt, then don't play football. I mean, that's part of the risk.
Yeah, but you don't want to risk your quarterback that you're going to dump theoretically.
We don't want another. I get what you're saying, Tim.
You're not going to put them in like the line of fire in a game that doesn't matter at all.
Well, for him it matters because he's only played 15 college football games.
You can get all of those reps just in the first game of the regular season. Then
it's not enough. They're going to struggle because he didn't play. He's going to struggle. They play the
anyways because he's a
Eagles. No, he plays the Eagles.
No, we play Eagles this week.
Is it the Jet? It's not the Jets. I forget. Let me see who they play.
Whoever it is, put money on them that they're going to win.
He's gonna. I think he's gonna have it rough. I really do. I think he could lose his starting position because he's not gonna. I think he's just undeveloped.
If he's wicked shitty, it's not going to be because he missed 2.
Oh yeah, they're going to lose. They play Jacksonville. Jacksonville about made it to the AFC Championship. Did they make it the AFC Championship game last year? Jags are good. They're going to lose this game. Easy. So, now we're canceling football games because you haul a guy off on a stretcher. What's going on?
Oh, we're gonna have to bring back COVID restrictions.
I don't care if it's preseason or not. You can't do that. You set a precedent once. I can understand doing it when a guy died on the field to a point, but you set a precedent. Are we gonna stop football games every time somebody gets hurt and carted off the field?
Like I said, Shazier fucking died on the field, and they kept playing.
I've seen guys paralyzed and wheeled off the field, like paralyzed, like 3 or 4 times. I've seen players paralyzed and carted off the field, and you keep playing. That's the game.
Rub some dirt in it and get back.
It is dangerous. This is the problem with society is we're so soft or so. Oh, but he hurt himself. That's part of the game. That that risk. That to me, it's no different than a guy white walling himself into the fence at a racetrack and he dies. Line him back up, clean up the mess, line him back up and go racing because they know the risk going into it.
Chris, are you a guy if he signed the waiver?
That's right.
It's like the car exploded and took out like a section of the stands and all pandemonium broke loose. But if it was just an accident on the racetrack,
right, or on the football field or on the hockey rink, you can't be canceling games. I don't care if they're preseason or not.
I can understand canceling the game.
They had 10 minutes left in that football game. That's almost a quarter. That's valuable time. I mean, what about the guy? Okay, you're going in next series, so we can evaluate you. He doesn't get that. I mean, we all you all say, well, if preseason ain't important to those guys. Every minute of preseason is important. You just canceled out a third of that game. Well, almost a quarter of that game, should I say, because the guy got hurt. You can't do that. 10.5 minutes left in the game. There's a lot of playing time there. There's a lot of reps that can be played by some guy that's he's on the edge of getting cut or making the team. You know what I mean? And maybe he doesn't get seen in the third game now. Maybe this was his game to shine. You know what I mean? We've all seen Hard Knocks when they do that.
I would hope they would, because of something like this, maybe give those guys hey, we're going to stay an extra, it's not going to be the same thing as in a game, but we're going to stay an extra 2 hours in practice or something to see if you really, if you really got what it takes or something.
Right. I hope so too.
Like a coach or something being oh, well, too bad you missed your shot because the game got canceled. Too bad, bye.
Right.
I can't see any coach doing that, but
I mean that's kind of shitty though. But I mean,
that
I
play.
can't see a coach doing it, but I could see like management.
Yeah, but then like I feel like the coach would just, like I said, extend like, hey, everybody else leaves. Coach stays there with this receiver and like one backup QB, and is like, we're just gonna run drills for like an hour and see what you got. Like you're not gonna get the game time experience, so this is what we got to do.
We just can't. Oh, he's hurt. Oh, how are they going to go out there and play the game? Emotionally, it's, well, you know what? Suck it up. It's a dangerous game. If I got hurt and I heard they canceled the game because I got hurt, I'm like, what are you, stupid? Play the game. I'm in the best hands
Like you
available. You know,
lose a limb on the field.
I,
Like
I if I die on the field, you know, I will be in heaven going, what are you doing canceling the game?
as you're floating up, you're like, no, what do you mean canceled? What?
Suck
Send
it
me
up.
back down there.
Bunch of Sallies.
Send me back down there. I'll possess my body.
Yeah, right. I just it's everything's getting out of hand. Now you have AI in baseball tracking umpires and calling them out for being bad umpires. Well, you know, they face 100-mile-an-hour pitch every single pitch now. It ain't like the old days.
My
They're gonna
thing
mess
is
up.
with the umps, they're human. They're gonna mess up.
Oh, I agree. You know,
I've always said, like, for football, not that like you should replace refs with AI, but it would be nice to have like, be like, hey, there was, this close call, like, oh, there was pass interference on this play. The, AI saw it, but the refs didn't. And then the refs could go back and look and be like, all right, this was enough of pass interference
Yeah.
to call.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the
but
ticky tack thing.
that
I think
slows
AI should come down. And be like,
anytime you instant replay though, you slow the game down.
well, look at what happened with instant
Yeah,
replaying
but I'd rather
pass
if you
interference. It
get the
never
call
worked.
right than a game getting screwed over because of a terrible call, whether missed or called
Hey,
in.
hey, Raiders fan, do we need to bring back the tuck rule game?
There's so many
I
times
mean,
in the
they
game
reviewed
where
that. That was
it should
that was
be
reviewed
it should
because
be
it was a fumble.
and
Not a fumble.
I'd rather them go back and take like the 3 or 4 minutes it takes to, now when it takes wicked long, most of the time it's them trying to figure out the stupid clock situation. But
Clock or the exact yardage or something.
yeah, like where exactly, like, okay, we determined it was a fumble. Now, where did the fumble actually go down? And they try to get it like as close as they can.
Yeah, that's
I'm fine with
ridiculous.
them taking like 3 or 4 minutes when something, not every time, but when something like fishy happens and it's like, was it pass interference? Was that actually a catch? As opposed to them just letting it happen. And then
Let
a
it
day
happen.
later, the NFL is like, oh, actually, that ref call was incorrect and the game should have actually gone the other way. But oh well, game's done. Like, I'd rather them take the time in the game to get those calls right, even if it means slowing the game down for a few minutes.
I don't. I think the human error plays a big part in all of it.
Yeah, but then
I mean, this goes all the way back to the 70s. I mean, this goes back to the Immaculate
what if it's a
Reception.
Super Bowl game though, and instead of instant replaying the, like, the guy goes up, catches the ball, comes down with it, and it's a touchdown. Okay, all of a sudden that team wins when in reality it was not a catch, and they called it a catch, and now that team won off of they won
They
the
did,
Super Bowl off of an incorrect call. That's not,
and it did. It happened.
and it shouldn't happen.
But it did. It happened. It happened
And
between the Steelers and the Colts. Cordell Stewart caught a game-winning
I'm
touchdown near the end. Cordell
it
Stewart.
should
Listen,
not
hold
happen.
on. Hold on. It
It
happened.
should happen.
Cordell
No, I don't
Stewart.
care about what happened with the Colts. I understand it was shitty, but that happened way long ago. We have the technology
They
now.
had the technology then. They had instant replay for touchdowns back then.
Yeah, but
They
it's
took
not
it. Hold on.
now.
Listen. Hang on. They
I'm not
had
listening.
the
I got it.
NFL had instant replay to review touchdowns. Okay. They took instant replay away for a while. Had there been instant replay, they would have noticed Cordell Stewart running out of bounds in the end zone and coming back in to catch a game-winning catch.
And
The
that is,
Steelers,
but it should not
went on to
happen.
win the Super Bowl that year.
It shouldn't
They
have
didn't,
happened, though, is what I'm saying.
right? But it happened. And I mean,
now we can stop it from happening. Just because it happened in the past doesn't mean we should let it. Just because one team got screwed over in the past doesn't mean that now we have to let every single team in the future be.
Are you still upset about the Des Bryant catch that wasn't a catch?
No, I'm just saying in general. It doesn't matter who it was.
I think that sports should be.
Now.
I think sports should be
Keep
a
it
part of a
cheap.
human error thing. I don't think
Oh,
that first base. I don't think a close call at first base should be instant replayed. I don't think home runs should be instant replayed.
I'm not talking about baseball. Baseball's a shitty sport. Nobody fucking cares about baseball. First of all,
And they're doing instant replay in the NBA now, which is freaking ridiculous. We're going way too far with this, and you're going to have computers take over everything.
Football's really the only sport where it should happen.
Where?
Football.
I agree.
mean, they have electric eye in tennis now. Don't forget, which they've had that for years.
I think tennis it's really nice. Where it can is it out or is it in? I thought that was a great thing. Not that I only pay attention to tennis during the Olympics, but
if you're worried that much about pass interference and don't allow them to play the.
I'm not talking about pass interference.
They don't allow them to play the receiver that close because they never used to be able to.
For game deciding factors,
you could call pass interference on every single play. It is up to the discretion of the referee whether he wants to call it on every single play in the NFL.
You could call holding every play.
You could call pass interference too.
Hold on, if there's blatant pass interference that the ref doesn't see, and all of a sudden the person
he sees it. Trust me. He sees it.
No, there's plenty of times where the ref's back has been turned and they don't call it because they don't see somebody get thrown on the ground by accident. And if that is the cause
there's only 14 eyes. There's only 14 referee eyes in an NFL game. They can't see everything.
Here's the thing, though. It never used to be a problem.
Every single
because we didn't have a replay.
Every single baseball player should be able to use performance-enhancing drugs because it was okay and allowed in the past. But now we have to test for it and stop people from doing it. But you're saying that because it happened in the past, we should just continue to allow it to happen.
Tim,
they used it in the NFL too. Don't forget. Those guys were juiced up.
Tim, are you calling for mandatory juicing like in Futurama for Ball players?
Yeah.
Got every defensive lineman was juiced up back in the 80s.
They still are.
Episodes of Futurama, Chris?
Oh, I'm loving the new season.
New season's fantastic.
I thought the weakest episode of the new season of Futurama was the crypto episode, but it was still funny.
I thought the Amy and Kip one was the worst.
I liked that one, but it also brought closure to that episode, or to that storyline.
I liked all the crypto jokes.
I did too, but I just thought that was the weakest episode.
They were all pretty funny.
But no, I thought the new season of Futurama was great. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your guys' NFL. I just had to get that joke out there.
That's the wall, anyways, so it's okay.
Well, you can't have. I mean, I guess if they have, is there any performance-enhancing drugs now that doesn't deteriorate your muscle and lead to heart attacks? Because steroids did that back in the day.
They're still taking stuff. They're just better about it now. They don't.
Dude, they can't even take a Benadryl without getting.
I mean, technically, what the cyclists do is cheating, and that's not even using drugs. That's just using.
Oh, they dope their blood or something like that, right? Ain't that what Lance Armstrong did?
Did you ever
eating their body?
Did you ever see? It was the guy that played Jon Snow and Sacha Baron Cohen. What's it called? It's like an HBO movie. Oh, one moment, let me look this up. I can't remember. It was on HBO. It was on.
With Jon Snow and Sacha Baron Cohen.
I think it was Sacha Baron Cohen. Give me one moment. I'm looking it up.
With Jon Snow? What else was he in?
Kit Harington.
I know who Kit Harington is. What was it about?
It was about cycling and how they're all on drugs. I'm pretty sure it was Kit Harington.
I don't know. I don't know what he's been up to. Has he been up to anything, or has he just been living
He's been
on?
doing stuff. So he did Criminal UK. He's been doing a lot of like UK stuff, and I think he's waiting for his Marvel stuff to kind of kick in
Not Marvel stuff too.
because he was in
He was in
Eternals,
Eternals.
and he's supposed to be like the descendant of King Arthur or something.
Henry V.
I don't
I
know.
don't see him in any like doping show.
Maybe it wasn't Kit Harington.
But it was Sacha Baron Cohen. Sacha Baron Cohen. Let's see what he was in. Or
I don't.
Miserable. He should have won an Oscar for La Miserable.
He should have. Yeah.
I don't see that he hasn't been in anything for a while. I don't know, dude.
Tour de Pharmacy. Give me. It's Andy Samberg and Murray
Andy
Miller.
Samberg. Well,
Yeah.
you're way off.
I was way off. It had John Cena and Jeff Goldblum. I'll read you the quick thing on it.
What's it called?
Tour de Pharmacy.
Oh, Tour de Pharmacy. Okay.
Is a 2017 made-for-television mockumentary sports film directed by Jake Szansky, starring Andy Samberg. Let me find the plot really quick. Sorry, I was way off.
Oh,
Fictional 1982 Tour de France, notable as the only time in race history when virtually all of the competitors were doping, inevitably creating a truly level playing field. The 38-minute special focuses on 5 competitors in the race. An obvious white Nigerian. They're going over the people. Basically, it's just about making fun of how everybody is doping or was doping.
They did a Saturday Night Live skit like that. It was called the All Drug Olympics.
I think that's what it's based off of because of it's Andy Samberg.
Well, I mean, this goes way back in like the early '80s. Was the All Drug Olympics? It's like, oh my God, he's ripped his arms off. He's trying to do like the power lift, and he rips his arms off. He'll feel that later because he can't feel anything because he's so doped up.
What was it called? It was Blue Mountain State, the Drug Olympics episode. I almost peed myself. I laughed so hard at that episode.
It was really prevalent. A lot of the guys, even in wrestling, like superstar Billy Graham, like his hip deteriorated from the use of steroids. I think Lyle Alzado got cancer from using so much steroids, and he had to have replacement surgery on a few of his joints because they were just eaten away by the steroids. So they used like horse cream and stuff, though, didn't they? Didn't like Bonds and them? Didn't they use like testosterone cream? And that what they were using?
I don't really know. I know there's so many different things they use. I know somebody was like using like I don't know. There's just so many weird things people used.
So
just to get a 0.1% edge, but that's the difference between history and
yeah. I mean, it's your bat speed, and if but it's keeping you out of the Hall of Fame.
Well, I will forever go down saying Barry Bonds probably would have been a Hall of Famer without steroids, but the difference was he was starting to go downhill until he started using steroids.
Well, people that's the argument people use, and they'll go, well, he should have been a Hall of Famer based off his career in Pittsburgh. Well, shouldn't have Pete Rose been in the Hall of Fame based off of his career rather than
I still think
a person who gambled on baseball?
Pete Rose is one of my favorite baseball players, one of my favorite athletes of all time because he always hustled. He might have walked, got might have gotten a walk, but he still hustled to first base.
As long as you don't bet on your team or like against your, as long as you don't bet on or against your team, I don't see a problem.
I don't see a problem either. And they can never prove that he never bet on his team when he was playing, right?
No, he bet on the Reds, but there's never any proof that he altered the outcome of the game.
Okay.
as a manager. There's no proof of that. And then the irony of it is they have a betting booth at Great American Ballpark now where the Reds play.
Yeah, but they still won't let him in.
But yeah, so it's just I don't know. I'm not big on. I mean, baseball. There's a big difference in the steroid era because that bat speed, is the difference between a foul ball and a home run. And those guys were, you know, without that help, they're not touching Roger Maris's record. They really aren't, and they're not touching Babe Ruth's record. And that's cheating, and I don't agree with it.
What
Those
do
guys, I mean,
people see as the real home run record right now?
well, probably Babe Ruth. I mean, I know Josh Gibson had more. He had like 962 home runs in the Negro Leagues, so he's the true king of home runs. But Babe Ruth was the number one guy, right? And then I think was it Babe Ruth, and then Bonds broke it. But I mean, Babe Ruth did it on hot dogs and beer. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it's like Clemens, Roger Clemens. They said he used steroids, which allowed him to pitch so long. Well, Nolan Ryan did not use steroids, and look how long he pitched, and he never won a Cy Young award ever.
I think
He was
I think
throwing
a
no
lot of
hitters
people
in his 40s.
I think a lot of people right now, the real home run, just looking it up, the real home run record is Aaron Judge and Roger Maris at 61. I think that's what a lot of people see as the real home
I see
run right
that.
now.
Yeah.
And then Babe Ruth is 60. Because after that, you get Sammy Sosa and McGuire and Barry Bonds, who all juiced
All juiced.
or corked their bats.
No, they weren't back corkers.
So Sosa was. Well, he picked the. I will agree that
Yeah,
I
he
agree
picked the
with him
wrong bat.
that he picks a practice bat on accident because he still. I feel like that. Like he was so sorry about that. Like he came out and like, yeah, that's what I did. Like he's so adamant about it that
I
I
would
kind of.
never cheat using a bat that helps me get home runs. I just juice. So
All right, guys. Does anybody have anything they just want to bring up, or are we gonna call it? Anybody got a shower thought?
no, nothing.
All right. Anyways, you can catch us at Pod Nerds on Twitter. Not me. Facebook
No,
Hoosier
you're on
Nerds.
Pod Nerds on Twitter, aren't you?
Yeah, but you can't catch me on my own
Don't
Twitter.
be bullying people on our
X.
Pod Nerd account, Chris.
I
You
won't.
just kicked off too.
I won't. I will make a whatever the one Trump uses now. I'll make an account on there.
Be
Whatever.
nice on our Twitter account.
Truth.org, I think.
Yeah, Truth or whatever it's called. I'll make one of those for us. You can catch us at Hoosier Nerds on Facebook. You can watch and listen to us at Hoosier Nerds on YouTube, or you can catch us at your favorite podcasting sites: YouTube or TuneIn, Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon.
Amazon.
Next time on Hoosier Nerds podcast, find out if Tim finally stabs Chris in the face. Or not. Who knows?